Chocs and Chocolate, in between Roberto, but not for a video review this time. This time it's for the top 20 chocolates of 2020. Yeah, so 20 to 11 basically this time. So the top, well, the lower half, the lower 10, I guess you'd say. I was going to say the top 10, the lower 10 of that 20. So there's a few things to go over here before I continue. So obviously there's a few caveats here. Now the gist of it is, this is basically the top 20 chocolates of those that I reviewed in 2020. So it's not actually new ones necessarily, although most of them are new pretty much. Yeah, there might be ones. There's a chance I might have re-reviewed some. Things like this. There's a chance that some weren't released in 2020, but generally there'll be ones that I first tasted in 2020 as well, and they're all ones I've reviewed as well. So they're not ones that I haven't reviewed. So there'll be a link or a playlist or something, maybe in the top corner if I've done that, or in the description or both, to a sort of a place of all the reviews of the 10 videos, the 10 chocolates in this list. The other thing as well is that I've removed some ice creams I reviewed last year from this list as well. So I think I reviewed Ben & Jerry's Chip Happens, a limited edition one, and also salted caramel brownie, I think it was as well, their sort of low calorie one, and I've removed them from the list. Now the reason for that is because it's just not a level playing field essentially, because I think ice creams are, in my opinion, I mean obviously it swings around lots of course, because a rubbish ice cream, might compare in a similar fashion, but the gist of it is I'm a massive fan of ice cream, and it's almost the Ben & Jerry's ones in particular. So any Ben & Jerry's one I review, I'll almost automatically prefer to have them over a chocolate bar, almost always. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It just didn't say it's not a level playing field. There are different kind of products. So and I don't generally review them. I review them probably mainly for the members only videos, really, ice creams and things like this. And that's another that leads me on to that. So I've not included things I've reviewed in the members only reviews. Mainly because I don't, they're all different. The things I wouldn't normally review, and the things like crisps and stuff like this, and they're not really cereals, things like that. Some of them are comparable, but generally they're not. And I just thought, it's not fair also to include those things that not everyone can see the reviews of. Although, I could argue that, maybe that's the point, maybe we should be trying to, but, I don't think that's right. And, so things like this as well. So I've not included those. And that kind of leads me on, because I kind of said about the comparability of ice creams to chocolate bars. So generally it's, not always chocolate bars unless there'll be sort of things like cake bars and stuff like that. They're the general things I usually review are what's included. And the way I've done this, I've kind of used a comparator engine, I think it's called, or something along those lines. Basically, what happens is I say, right, I've got one product A, a chocolate bar B. Which would I rather eat, A or B? So I just say pick A, and B goes to one side, A goes to another side. And basically, you keep comparing. Then all the ones in the side A or whatever it is inside B all get compared, and then there's C and D's and stuff like this. And eventually, you end up with a list, and all get compared with each other. And it's got some clever logic in there, probably. It doesn't just compare A's and B's, and then it's kind of like sorting them that way. And there might be some, there might be some ranking to that, and some mathematics behind the scenes. I haven't done it myself. I've used a computer program to do that. So basically, just said which would you rather have, this or this, and I keep doing it, and it compares all of them basically, roughly, or something along those lines, and eventually you get a list out. So what I did was I got all my reviews from that year, from 2020, and I put them all into, so there's over 200, I think. I've done loads of reviews, I can't remember just how many there was. And then I compared them all, and I got a list, and then what I then did was I took the top 50, removed them from the rest of the list, and then compared them specifically, and then that was my list then basically. And then what I've done is I've just took the top 20 from that. So because obviously I just thought, well, you know what, there could be some oddities going on because I've compared 200 things, that there might be some clever maths inside the comparator engine or whatever that is going to affect to skew the results because I've compared so many things, and it might be a bit, I don't know. So I just compared the top 50 then, and then got the top 20 out of that, and that's where we are. So that's kind of how I've done it really. So it's one of those, so the way, and also as I alluded to then, the way I've done it is I've kind of just said, right, which would I rather have? So at the time when I reviewed something, I might have given it, say, 5 stars or whatever, but then when put in front of me, I've got 2 products, which would I rather have at this moment in time? I've picked the one I'd rather have. So it could be that actually it wasn't reviewed as highly at the time, but for whatever reason, I've just thought, you know what, I fancy that, I want that one right now, compared to this one. So you've got to bear that in mind. It might not necessarily, go with actually what I reviewed higher at the time. It's just what I fancy at the moment. So it could change. It could be my mood might dictate a different result sometimes, things like this. But what can you do? It's just what can you do? So there we go. So it should be roughly right. I think I'm quite happy with it. So I think we should get on with it. Yeah. So right. So this is number 20 out of 22. Number 11. So it's I'll say the higher 10 of the top 20. So starting off with number 20. So what is that? Well, it is Orange Twirl. Yes, Orange Twirl. So I think it originally probably came out in 2019 actually, but that was one manufactured in Egypt, and then he released it, and that did make its way to the UK. And then the in the 2020 release, which was the 2019 one was made in Egypt, and that did make its way to the UK. Quite rare, hard to find, and it wasn't that great really. It just wasn't. I don't know. Something about it wasn't quite right. The chocolate wasn't that quite right, or something along those lines. So basically, they released it again in 2020, but this time it was manufactured, I think, in the UK anyway. But it was manufactured in a different place anyway. I'm sure it's the UK or Ireland or something like that. And yeah, and basically it was just a lot nicer for some reason. I think they must have changed the recipe. Used the same recipe that they used for regular UK twirls. Yeah, and it was very nice, really nice. It was obviously that orange chocolate trend that was going on, still possibly coming to an end now, but it was going on throughout the 2020s. And it was really nice. Twirls are nice anyway. As you don't know, I'll play the picture on the screen now. But it's a 2-fingered bar of basically Cadbury's chocolate. I'm not sure if it's dairy milk, but it's very nice chocolate. It's very nice Cadbury's chocolate. A bit like a flake, but covered really, almost like a flake dipped, if you remember those. A bit like that, not too far from that. And it's just really nice, really lovely, and obviously with an orange flavour to it as well, very nice. And yeah, really stood out, really enjoyed that one. So yeah, that was my number 20. Okay, well, number 19, yeah, so what's this? I've got a list on the left there, I'm just checking it. So this one actually was a surprise one to me. It's a new bar last year. This is a new one from last year. I guess the Orange Twirl was as well, technically. It's the Milk Almond Krispy Kreme. Yeah, so that was a really, really nice one, actually, this one. It was basically like a sort of very creamy, it's basically obviously milk. It's a Milka bar, of course. I don't think there's a Cadbury equivalent to this one. Sometimes there is for Cadbury Milka bars. But basically, I remember loving it at the time. I just thought this is a really nice surprise, and it was basically like a sort of creamy almond, just like a bit like a Kinder Bueno almost, but with almonds, that kind of sort of like a creamy centre in it, and obviously, with milk or chocolate on the outside. And yeah, and it had like was it bits of almonds in it as well? It was just a crunchy. It had lots of different nice textures, lovely taste, really, really luxurious. It was a lovely bar actually, and yeah, it probably would be higher had I had it recently. I've just not had it for a while now, so I think the memory of it's gone a bit from it. I think if I had it again, I think this one might be higher actually. Really would check this one out. Lovely, lovely bar. Sure, it's not a limited edition one. I think the Orange Twirl was a limited edition one, but yeah, really nice. Really love that one. Yeah, it just had so many nice textures, lovely taste, beautiful bar. Really a surprise as well. Very surprisingly, now I didn't expect to think that much of it. So yeah, that's number 19. Okay, so number 18. Right, Cadbury's Dairy Milk Top Deck. Yeah, so this one, Australian import. This one. So it used to be available in the UK. Unfortunately, I remember when I was little. I think I said in a review at the time. I used to see it. It used to be on the top shelf of the chocolate selection. Really, I think I was small, so I couldn't reach it. And it was always these bigger bars, the ones that were very special and different, a bit like the Top Deck. And what that is, it's sort of like dairy milk at the bottom, but the sort of square toppers on each segment are actually white chocolate. I think that in this case it's the Dream or the Australian Dream white chocolates on the top. I don't think Dream was around when I was younger, so it was just some kind of white chocolate that Cadbury's got hold of. I don't think they really did white chocolate then, and they do it now because of the white. But anyway, I digress. Yes, but wasn't a strong point. I always wanted it when I was younger, and finally managed to get hold of a big bar of it from Australia, and it was really nice. Yeah, it was just. But I think the novelty of it was really nice. I think. I'm not 100% convinced that the Australian dairy milk is as good as the UK dairy milk, but I think what with this one being two different kinds of chocolate, very special big bar, it just was really nice. And as I say, as I've mentioned, really, this is kind of when I'm looking at two bar, what would I rather have? It's not necessarily, it doesn't always mean it's the better one. Just think, I'd quite fancy that now, and this one came out at number 18. Yeah, so yeah, very, very nice bar actually. It's not to suggest in any way that it isn't a nice bar. It's just lovely bar. Definitely recommend trying to get that one if you can. Yeah, that's my number 18. Okay, well, number 17, what have we got? Fully coated digestives. Yeah, now this is one that I think probably didn't get as high a rating as as I thought it would do. I think is the gist of it. Now I did do the fully coated hobnobs, and they've not made the list because I did actually review them in 2021 this year. So I was considering. Because I bought it in 2020 and just think, they came out in 2020. But basically, I didn't review them until this year, so they're not on this list. But the digestive coated, basically a digestive biscuit fully coated in chocolate. And since the Oreos have done this concept of coating Oreo biscuits in chocolate, I've just thought, why doesn't every biscuit do this? Even one with chocolate on it, like a chocolate digestive, just coat it in chocolate again, just have it fully coated. I just thought it's a genius idea. You could do it with anything, bourbons, custard creams, anything, and they should do still. But they've started doing it with digestives and hobnobs. And while I was a bit I still liked it. It was still a really nice biscuit. I'm not sure if I gave it a 5 out of 5. I don't think I did. But nonetheless, it was a real substantial biscuit, and it was nice, and the chocolate was quite thick in it. It's sort of, you couldn't really snap it as easy. It wasn't as accessible as a regular chocolate digestive. It was something, it kind of detracted from it in a way that I didn't expect. But if you had it in front of me now saying, do you want some of this or do you want that? I would, more often than not, as I say, it is number 17, go for the fully coated digestive, because it was just such a novel idea, and nice, and more, you fancy it, it's like, oh, I wouldn't mind having that, and it's something a bit special, really. Even though there's some problems where you only got 6 in a box and it costs a ridiculous amount, compared to what you're getting. But that aside, just would I rather have it over a lot of other things? It turned out to be number 17, and yeah, very nice, and I can see why, really. Okay, so what have we got next? Yes, number 16. Okay, so this one was a bit of a controversial one for me, because actually, well, I did put it in the list originally, the comparator engine, but it was, long story short, is it got mixed with another product. So basically, I was reviewing it, I was just checking one product over the other, over this one, because it was on the same line, basically, when I loaded them into the engine. And this is Mint Malteser buttons, yeah, so what I did was then I basically put it back in when as I mentioned at the start of the video, when I recalculated the top 50, I knew this was be a good one, so I threw it in at that point, the top 51, and yeah, so kind of, it would have been there anyway, so thankfully it worked out. And that's, yeah, and of course, because it's now the number 16, so yeah, so basically, well, Malteser buttons were a revelation when they came out. I think they came out 2018, I think it was. They were really nice, lovely, amazing that sometimes it takes so long for something to come out, really. It's such a good idea. And then for some reason, some random reason, he started doing Mint Malteser buttons. I don't know why. There's no Mint Maltesers. We just did mint ones. I don't know why. Completely out of the blue. No idea where they did it. But it actually tastes really nice. Just a nice sort of fresh minty taste. It's probably what you'd expect, really. But the Malteser buttons, lovely, lovely malty, sort of crunchy, sort of buttons, basically. And by buttons, I mean like a flat, semi-flat circle of chocolate, essentially, but a bit domed, obviously, a bit just like a button, essentially. And then with the Maltese one, got bits of sort of Malteser in it, and they're really nice, really lovely concept. And the mint flavour, yeah, worked well. I enjoyed them. Very nice indeed, yeah. So that's number 16, yeah. Okay, number 15 was limited edition one, this one, Lemon Dime. Yeah, so however you want to spell it, D-I-M-E or D-A-I-M. The D-I-M-E is the way I'd always spell it, because when I was younger, that's how it was spelt in the UK. It just changed it to be the same as mainland Europe, I think. But yeah, pronounced the same, presumably. Yeah, so really nice. So basically, lemon version of Dime. Really nice bar. Dime's one of my favourites. It's a gorgeous bar, generally. Basically, it's like an almond caramel, crunchy, really thick almond caramel covered in this very distinct milk chocolate. And it just, both the chocolate and the scent are very distinct. So it's got a lovely chew to it. Really sticks in your teeth to an extent, but kind of melts at the same time. It's a lovely, lovely just experience, basically. It's a lovely bar. Very small though these days. I think they've probably already been, but they're noticeably smaller, I think, or noticeably small these days. And this was a lemon version. Lemon flavour didn't harm it in any way. It just made it a bit different, a bit nicer. Well, maybe not nicer, but added something a bit different to it. Just a different sort of sideways step, but with lemon. Not sure whether I prefer it with a flavour or not. But it was very nice. Very, yeah, loved it. Yeah, Lemon Dime. If it was there now, as I say, would I pick it? I'd pick it over the other ones above it, presumably. Okay, so what have we got next? Number 14. Okay, so, well, this is a company that's kind of made a real massive, I don't know if comeback's too strong a word, but very much a presence, a new sort of wave of their, well, new bars, I guess, or new range of products that are sort of like a take on their sort of very sort of chocolate staple that they do, and that's Terry's, basically, and this is their biscuit bar, the Terry's Chocolate Orange Biscuit Bar. So it's like basically a sort of a bar made up of segments of their Terry's Chocolate Orange, essentially, but with pieces of biscuit in there. Originally when I reviewed this, I was a bit underwhelmed with it, but I've since had it again, and actually it was a lot better than I first remembered it being. When it's still probably, I think the review is about right, really, but I don't know. I think because I was disappointed in the review when I just had it, not thinking about it. I did enjoy it, and yeah, and it was nice. It's just basically a bar, toast chocolate orange bar, lots of very uniform circular biscuit pieces in throughout the whole bar. It's packed full of biscuit pieces, and I love, people who watch the channel will know that I love biscuits and biscuit pieces in my chocolate. I love the consistency. I love that filling. You know, more so than that nut fillings. Really, I do prefer biscuit pieces. Yeah, and loved it. Yeah, really nice bar, and it's just lovely taste. Terry's chocolate orange is gorgeous. Possibly, I think my best way of eating orange flavour or orange things in chocolate. I think it just works really well. You know, over orange creams and all sorts. Yeah, and obviously having the biscuit consistency as well is it's pretty much a win-win. I think I was just slightly disappointed at first when I had it, because I say it was a bit, the biscuit. There's something, well, you know, there's something not quite right with the biscuits. I felt it just wasn't quite right, but it was still nice, you know, and I still would love to eat it. So yeah, there we go. So where are we up to? Yes, I'm trying to find where we were now. Yes, that's number 14, wasn't it? So number 13. Well, going on from that, I think again, as I say, Terry's were doing lots of new products last year, basically based on their chocolate orange range. They just went woof, you know, through a load of stuff, you know what I mean. And another one of their products, actually, and I expected this one to be higher really. This was Terry's white chocolate orange. Gorgeous, absolutely. I mean, this was, you know, it's a funny one really, because I think I'd say that this one probably is one of the top tasting chocolates of last year really. But just when, you know, when sort of, as I say, compared, would I rather have this or this, it didn't win those kind of battles. For some reason I just would rather have something else over it. Can't explain why that is, but this was basically, yeah, Terry's chocolate orange generally is milk chocolate, but this was their white chocolate one version. They've done it before. I don't know if it probably is a limited edition, maybe, unfortunately, but it was so gorgeous. It pretty much tasted as if you really were eating an orange, but obviously a chocolate version of it. It just, the flavouring worked perfectly with the white chocolate. It honestly did. It was unbelievably accurate to the taste of an actual orange. It felt that way when I was eating it anyway. I really enjoyed this one. Probably doing a bit of a disservice to be this, you know, low. I mean, as I say, I've reviewed over 200 chocolates last year, so you know what I mean. So please, it's not that, it is still high. So when you think about it, you know, so yeah, so you must bear that in mind. You know, this is not the bottom half of my chocolates from last year. This is literally the top 10%. You know, the top 10 is the top 5%. Yeah, so we're still doing really, you know, yeah. Please don't think that this is in any way saying it is a bad product, because it really isn't. And I think I probably would say it probably was one of the nicest ones. Well, I am even by being here. But what I mean is, I think it just lost out with the fact that sometimes I would just rather have other bars over this, even though it's really nice. Yeah, so really great bar, gorgeous orange and white chocolate combination. Honestly, fabulous, truly fabulous, truly fabulous. There we go. There's white chocolate orange. That's the full orange version. So yes, what have we got next? Yeah, so well, it proves that the list worked really, because at number 12 is a very similar product. And as I say, this was a computer did this. I just did in the yes and no's to it. So obviously it is working to an extent. It's a very similar one. This is the white orange minis from Terry's as well. And again, another one of their products. Yeah, it's the same thing really, but it comes in a bag this time rather than the actual spherical orange. And it's just mini segments basically, not quite the same size segments either, they are a bit smaller, and I think I slightly preferred this over the white chocolate orange, purely because I think they were just more manageable chunks, and I think the flavour being just condensed that ever so slightly bit more made it work better. Yeah, you know, so that's why, and I think it was just easier to eat as well. Very minor things. The white orange is still brilliant. But yeah, there we go. So that was the same difference basically. Everything I've said before applies to this pretty much, other than it's in a little bag. And the same, it's quite small. They're not all together, just sort of separated. So yes, there we go. Terry's white chocolate orange minis. Number 12, I think that was. Yes, and then number 11. So the last one for today. Yeah, so it's well, you know, yeah, this is another Australian import really, another Cadbury's one. It's Cadbury's Caramel. Yeah, so this is I think you can get it. You can get it in smaller bars, but this was, I reviewed a big bar of it, like 200-gram bar, or whatever it was. Yeah, very nice. Basically, it's like a caramel flavored white chocolate. You know, not a Caramac, because a Caramac in the UK isn't actually chocolate. If you look at the ingredients and things and whatever, it's not actually chocolate. It's just same with yeah, I think gold bars as well. They're not. It's not actually chocolate that surrounds those, so it's slightly different. Not white chocolate. And this was just a bar of solid, yeah, white chocolate, as I say, but with sort of a caramel flavour. Really nice, really very special, I think you'd say as well. And of course, I did import it from Australia, so well, I got it from B&M, I think, but it was an import from Australia. You can get them online and stuff, but if you're looking B&M at the right time, you can get some non-UK products there that you don't really find anywhere else. But yeah, very nice. It's just what I said, really nice golden looking bar. Looks beautiful, really appetising. As I say, has that sort of gold, McVitie's gold bar look to it, but a bit more of a decent taste, I would say. I'd say because it's white chocolate and it just has something more about it. Very nice, lovely taste. Definitely recommend checking that one out. Yes, that's Cadbury's Caramel from Australia. I don't know if it's Cadbury's Dream white chocolate. I don't remember it saying specifically Cadbury's Dream with caramel. So it might be a special sort of concoction, whatever. Maybe they just, I don't know, don't label it as Dream for that, because it's not really Dream. I don't, as in it's got caramel flavouring, but there we go. Right, okay, so yes, that's the that's 2211. So that's the lower, rough 10% of my reviews from last year, the chocolates I really liked last year. So yeah, so we're going to do the top 10 in the next video. So yeah, join for that. If you enjoyed that review, and as I say, not review, well, that video. But as I say, just because those were this is the top 10% of all the videos I reviewed, all the chocolates I reviewed last year. So these are not, I had a massive list prior to this of chocolates. I'm sure it's about 200. So this is a very much, all these chocolates are really nice ones. All of them are really nice. This is not, number 20 in this list isn't my worst of the year. This is the worst of the top 10, top 10%. So bear that in mind. Yeah. So there we go. But let me know what you think if you enjoy those chocs, if they're your favourites, and of course go watch the next section. It might not be out yet, but if it, if it is, I'll put a link in the corner, or whatever. Or it'll be, I'm sure it'll be suggested to you, something like that. Okay, I'll see you next time for the top 10. Take care, guys. Bye for now. See ya. Bye.